Greetings, Jedi traders. David here at TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for July 20th, 2016, week 29, day 3 earnings season. Here we go. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only. Support your knowledge in the market. See what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, let's jump into the econ data. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from today's session on the futures, and then let's take a look at some of those strong market cap leaders and some earnings reports. All right, on the econ platform for today, we were looking at MBA mortgage applications coming in at a negative and petroleum down, lifting that crude upside. On the earnings on post market, as the market has been in what a rally. Whatever your bias is in the market, leave it to be a bias, and you just got to trade the charts in front of you, and rally we go, even though you think we might be needing a short here or self-correction. Either way, Intel coming in the green, Qualcomm coming in the green, and looking downside here on the eBay. Where is she? There she is, coming in the green as well. Hey guys, don't forget to check out the S&P 500. Nice daily earnings dashboard, giving you a big number there. Right now, as earnings season's coming in, we are at 63% of companies. That's in a typical quarter. Right now we're at 58%, beating expectations. So we'll take a look as the week goes on and see how that number flutters. All right, price action today. Again, missed a great opportunity on the NQ. Kind of kicking myself for it, but hey, sometimes we miss it, so ended up with only 52 ticks. There it was, only one trade on the NQ. Gave it an afternoon shot to the downside. Didn't fly too much, so 2 ticks there. YM 25 ticks and ES for 2 shots at it, and that was about the sum of today after that nice move. Hey, guys, in beta right now, trend predictor, just making sure all charts are working. It was all long position. I think our long position worked out very nice today, even though the beginning of the market was just all over the place. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. But let's jump right into the VIX here. VIX all over the news today. We can see all in the red here. Again, if you're trading the VX, the ETF, the VXX, you'd be in a great trend downside. But as far as the territory we're entering, we're in this sell signal in the market zone as price action comes underneath the 12 here to a low that we have down here about 9.6, 9.3. So you want to watch this zone here as the market still holding upside. Again, we could shop in here for some time, but eventually markets will correct themselves. We could talk about rally, but at some point market has to pull back, and it just has to. That's the way it goes. So there it is, overnight session. Thought, hey, we had plenty of these last week. Seems we'd be pulling these out again. Nice controlled move to the upside overnight, and there it was. The market open. We got YM to the downside. We got green on the NQ, and it was all NQ to the upside today. YM really a laggard today. ES finally catching up, but it was all NQ to the upside. There it was, the start. 51.44 charts just throwing me for a loop here to decide which one's the go. Is it the NQ going to stall, or is it the YM? Well, you know what? If the charts are showing you a setup, you can take it. You can look at the AD line to see if that's helping you in direction. But as far as market direction here on the NQ, it was upside. And so market action to the downside took one on the YM, one on the ES, only ending up with 6 there, 25 on the YM. Pretty much left the YM for the rest of the day. You can see YM really lagging here behind in the trend. It was ES, nice upside. Took the entry once we got above the T350, but it was all NQ, and I just let that run. I didn't even touch that, not even look for a re-entry. So got to let that one go. Hey, that happens sometimes. There's your ES total session right there. Price action or total setups didn't take one after that, as price action pretty much chopped at the tops after reaching up here around the Globex Globex high here and London high as well. But again, all charts in the green. Higher time frames in the green, lower time frame in the green gives you an entry to the upside. Taking a look at the NQ full session, almost full session there. Nice move. This guy actually was up to the mid session around lunchtime. And that was pretty much it. NQ really didn't go much higher. Gave it a pullback, another lift up high, but pretty much fizzled out. But again, look for the strong 10. Buy signal back here. Stop at the swing size would have got you in, and would have kept you in, or at least on the pullback where then eventually you had 5 charts in the green. And we'll take a look at this chart once again here in a little bit. These were the possible re-entries here as we had a 2-bar pullback. Again, not one of my favorite setups, but a possibility. Again, had a little bit of a scalp opportunity here as price action broke underneath the 51.44, and then the break down below underneath the T350. You would have, man, I would not even have gone for 10 ticks. I would have just kept it to 5 ticks at this point. Any other trending stocks? Yeah, we had the ZM soybean and soybean meal to the downside. There it is, sell signal, pullback, and then break action underneath the T350 to the downside. All 5 charts in the red, all across the board. Very, very nice move. All right, let's take a look at the AD line. So there was the NQ flying up and the YM and the ES coming down. And so price action in that first 30 minutes kind of divergent there, but it was all to the upside as the AD line pretty much fizzled out the afternoon, looking more like summer trading as the afternoon session comes to a quiet stall. Again, EIA report out today, negative numbers, so crude getting a nice lift today up to the CAM levels and pretty much finishing out around the Globex high. YMES, ES in the upper right-hand corner. There's that nice lift, tapping the daily gap. That was it for the day. Pushed all the way up here and pretty much finished out under the Globex high. YM finishing out. Not much of a move on the YM. Disney results, as far as I remember, not looking too good. But what was it? Morgan Stanley was in the green, and so price action a little bit choppy there. Taking a look at the NQ again. NQ mover of the day off the CAM level, breaking right from the today's open and never looked back all the way up here to around average high. What numbers were we, what levels we looking at up here upside? Well, let's take a look. A little bit of a surprise here as we've been talking about the last couple days. Daily gaps upside, there it is. She closed it out, 43.50. We've been talking that about for a couple of weeks here. Price action either was going to come back down or was going to reach up to those highs. So we got a closed out gap up here back from, that's right, December 30th. Got to pull those charts back a little bit more. And there she is, December 30th. We have the gap zone up here. And then when I say gap, I don't have an open gap, but I do have former highs here. So anywhere in this zone, we're going to be looking for all-time highs once price action NQ gets up here. Again, the momentum's there. That's where it's at. Crude, again, not much sideways. Look for the downside, 43.23. As far as the YM and ES, we continue to push higher. No open gaps remaining upside. So that's a little concerning as price action eventually, yep, at one point is going to pull back. So keep your heads up. VPOX, another, as price action, what do we say? Consolidation leads to breakout. And there was our breakout today. ES consolidation, breakout. Again, just as much as we have daily gaps, we also have open VPOX. Crude hanging out here at the, that's right, there she is. That's the 600-day VPOC. And again, NQ getting a lift today. Hey guys, how'd we do on those fib levels today? How'd we do? Ooh, look at that. NQ to the upside. Hits the fib level upside. YM to the downside. Very nice from the market open. And ES tap both sides, downside and upside today. Making a nice hit there on both directions. Looking at the daily trend, let's start out with the crude again. Crude to the upside on the reaction market EIA report out today. Again, you got a lot of that chop. Early morning session, crude came down 5 charts in the red. That was a nice move to the downside. But again, afternoon session, you might not have gotten the initial entry, but if you took the entry above the T350 on at least 2 charts, break above 51.44, you got a nice move. Here was the best of the best entries upside. Taking a look at the YM again, we talked about how much of a choppy session here on the YM across the board. Sell signal to the downside, got a piece of that, and the rest of the day pretty much just chiseled out to the right to the U.S. Open. So no afternoon session entry there on the YM. NQ, winner and trend of the day as price action broke out. Again, there's that setup in the early session. You got the buy signal here, swing size stop. If you got stopped out because you bailed out earlier because you just had your stop too short, well, you had another opportunity right here, solid body, or just wait for another bar to break out above and you just rode it all the way up, or based on your management style, decide to come out. Again, another opportunity up here on the scalp entry to the downside, but if you were already in the green for the day, I would have just left it alone. Taking a look at the ES, again, ES opportunities here, pre-market, nice moving session overnight, and there it is, price action post 30 minutes, breakout above the T350s for a nice move to the upside of that, and that was the second entry of the day, managed it, and decided to just bail out. Taking a look at the gold, not much action except overnight, yep, to the downside, there it is, nice move, look at that. One sell signal after another. 5 charts in the red, so if you're trading the overnight or pre-market session, wait for the best possible setup on the sell signals and you got yourself a trending signal. 6E, again, very choppy across the board. Buy signal to the upside above the T350 here, about 30 minutes of post-U.S. session open. For the most part, remained choppy the rest of the day. Taking a look at the daily big pick as we roll into tomorrow. Again, crude still continues to fight that T350. Still downside here as we hold underneath the 50 and the 144. So I got to go with crude still in a downtrend until we break upside. We're sitting in between that 50 and 200. And across the board, taking a look at the three indices, is price action volume just under, well, not just under, but under average. That's a little concerning to me, especially here on the ES as we continue in a downslide here, or pretty much average for the last 3 days, but still under 60 period. But we are holding above those 2015 highs that you can see here, and looking for those that gap of former all-time highs up here all the way up to 39.50. Still sitting above 50 and 200. You'll want to watch the dailies for support. You'll want to watch the four hour as everything clear here in an uptrend. Indecision candles here on the YM, that you need to watch for a little bit concerned, but upward trend. Fib target number 2, that's right, on the NQ. Fib draw all the way upside. Hits 52 to the upside, so very impressive move. Looking for 127% as the next level up. So look at we are out of daily gaps to the upside, so all we can do is go with the intraday levels, and looking at the daily charts, look for all-time highs as well, and just go for the trend. All right, let's take a look at the charts here. Again, we talked about the VIX here. Again, 2 days now underneath that caution level of 12. So watch the VIX. This is a sell signal, typically sets up in the market, but you might just get some chop action here as price action moves along. Taking a look at Intel after hours. Again, a nice pullback as we big picture is still in the green. Weekly in the green. We got a daily in the green, red here, but 50 about to cross over the 144. T3 moving average. I know I wish I could tell you to go back and tell you the buy signal was back here about a week ago or a week and a half ago, but that's what you want to be looking for. Again, nice pullback. This was probably the best of the setups a week ago Wednesday. Buy to the upside, and you had the T3 moving averages crossing upside on the 50, 100. Always look for the 15-minute chart intraday to support that move to the upside. Again, holding above the 50 and the 100. All right, so we'll watch that in the days to come as price action lifts up. Taking a look at eBay. eBay again today out with its numbers all in the green. Again, pullback opportunity once price action crossed underneath the T350. Probably most likely was here yesterday. Again, that's on a larger time frame. If you're watching a smaller time frame, you obviously had a better entry. Sitting above the 50 and the 200 here, both on the daily and the weekly. Again, we're waiting for the crossover. It's going to take some time to get that on the daily, but I love the 4-hour chart. Here was the entry back here about July 11th as price action broke to the upside. Again, if you're looking for the pullback in eBay plus stock repurchase, from my understanding from earnings reports today, you'll want to look for a pullback on the 50 and the 15-minute, and then watch for the resurgence to the upside as we continue and hold above the 50 EMAs. All right, taking a look at some of the other charts. Every other day we take a look at the market cap leaders. Let's start with Apple here. Take a look at Apple, and again, we'll revisit that on Thursday. Apple, there's our TLT. Take a look at Apple again. Holding upside, nice market move, open gap up here at 103.91. Watch for that to get closed. 4-hour chart holding upside on the T3 moving averages. So re-entry was back here on just about 713. 50 tick chart, give you that entry signal, along with the 15-minute chart now holding upside. So again, if you're a value seeker and you went for the lows down here, you're still sitting in pretty, very nice. If you waited for the breakout above the 50, nice move. But again, still got a little bit of trend to get upside, especially on the daily. But again, look for those pullbacks. We'll revisit that Apple now 3 times a week, so that should be able to give you guys another possible opportunity when that happens. Taking a look at Amazon, all in the green. Again, waited for that pullback. Now again, earnings next week, so you want to be aware of that. Apple is taking a look at the cheat here. 7/26, that's next Tuesday. Amazon next Thursday, July 28th. So again, as price action lifting upside, T3 moving averages giving you opportunities on the pullback to the T350. I love it. That means the trend is very strong on Amazon as we hold up above the 50 and 200. So still pretty strong buy upside technically. Technical momentum on the Facebook. Again, nice pullback here on Tuesday leading into here Wednesday. Upside. There it is. all you had to do is watch Monday's video, and there was your opportunity to get into Facebook to the upside as she bounces this week off the 50, holding upside in the green. Nice move on Facebook. Taking a look at Alphabet Goog as we run through the week here. Again, pullback that we talked about on Monday, and here we go. It is Wednesday, and opportunity on the 50-tick chart. Again, a little bit choppy here in the session, but again, 100-tick chart, 15-minute chart holding up. That's Wednesday session, and that's right, we talked about this on Monday. There was the pullback to the 50 EMA, and there she is holding upside. Very nice move, getting support above the 200. T3 moving averages on the 50, 4-hour chart upside as well. So all green there on the Alphabet Goog. Earnings on Facebook next Wednesday, and Alphabet Goog here on Thursday together with Apple. All right, Netflix. Again, we looked at Netflix yesterday as it kind of chopped yesterday here at the lows of that sell-off as earnings didn't look so great. Again, I'm not a big fan here technically as far as to the upside yet. Again, if you're a value seeker, you want to watch the Netflix, you're going to look for the gaps to be filled here. You got one at 93.18, one at 97.12. Again, you're going to have to get through that 50, and that means daily and 4-hour charts have some resistance here before we might get to those numbers. So a little bit concerned, but again, if you got some fundamentals that say Netflix is a good buy here, technical momentum here, again, above the T350. I like it on the 50. Again, you got a little bit of movement still to go on the 100 here, so you'll want to watch for that resistance there. I want to see that 15-minute get above that 144 before I say I love it. But right now, just watching on an intraday, you're not yet there. But again, if you're a value seeker and you have, for any reason, belief to get in at this point, hey, go for it. But technical momentum, I would not go for the setup yet. And taking a look at Starbucks here as we roll into earnings tomorrow. Again, pre-earnings can go in either direction. Got to protect yourself. Again, Starbucks for the last couple weeks here has been holding upside above the T350 on a 4-hour chart and above 51.44. But again, the long-term look got to break above that 50 on the weekly to continue a better trend, a stronger trend, and daily still has some resistance to the upside as we sit in between chopping sideways between this 50 and 200. So again, not a big technical momentum indicator here as we just waffle around pre-earnings. I'll have a better idea once we get into those earnings out and make a decision on whether it's a good signal to get in or whether look for the pullback and opportunity. All right, guys, that wraps it up for the daily trend for the indices as well as some of the market cap leaders. Make sure you check out my futures ETF market cap leaders for the weekend and the week 28 recap, which we'll do this week, week 29, which is a summary of the entire session. As we roll out the rest of the week, it's earnings, earnings, earnings. Starbucks, including a couple red star events tomorrow, should be able to move the market again. Got to leave the bias at the leave your bias at the door when trading. But as far as markets are concerned, they can go in either direction any day, so you got to be ready for both directions. As far as where I wish we would be, sure, I would wish the market to come down and close out some open gaps, but until then, market is strong to the upside. Feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My mantra: one simple strategy, any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. You can find me every day on Twitter at TradingFibs, and as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only trade what's in front of me and on my charts, and as always, leave your bias at the door when trading. Hey guys, have yourself a Blue Zone day, good night, and good trading to you.